Laura here. I'm back. It is April 20th, which is a Monday. I'm about to go back to work after the week after spring break. This was supposed to be the week that my show was supposed to hit high gear and we were supposed to be doing so many fun things. That's just not the case. We're still doing distance learning, so I'm still working from home. But I just want to do a quick update before I start teaching that I am still in the middle of reading 3 books actually. I'm still in the middle of reading Verona Comics, which I'm about 206 pages into. Still really, really liking that. Um, and I hope to finish that book today. I'm also listening to All Your Twisted Secrets by Diana Urban, which is like a mystery thriller. And I'm listening to Ghosts of the Shadow Market. I also did a bunch of watching last night. I finished watching Gifted, which was a Fox show that was on a couple of years ago, which I really, really wound up enjoying. And I'm so sad we didn't get a third season. And then I started watching Legacies, which is a spinoff of the Vampire Diaries and the originals, but it has a magic school, which I am so obsessed with. Seeing people use powers in The Gifted really made me motivated to read and watch more things with that. And also a couple of other shows. But check out my video. I'm gonna do it early in May. It's gonna be what I'm watching, just to give you guys an idea of what I've been watching recently. But I'm gonna go back to doing my work, and I'll definitely update you guys at the end of the day and let you guys know if I finished Verona Comics or if I finished All Your Twisted Secrets. Talk to you guys in a bit. Bye. Hey, it's Lori here. It's about 2 o'clock. I did actually get a little bit of reading done, which I didn't think I would, honestly, but I did get a little bit of reading done for Verona Comics. I read up to page 250, which is actually where I wanted to be actually by the end of today, so I'm actually ahead of my goal. But I actually am really liking this book. I'm really liking how she's really digging into Ridley's depression and anxiety. I think that that's a really, really interesting dynamic between them, especially because they're so different. And I really like the dynamics between them. I like the focus on the comic book industry. I really like how they're playing around with the Romeo and Juliet trope. I think it's really, really fun, and it's a really, really engaging read. I have some concerns about Ridley's depression and anxiety. I hope it doesn't go the way I think it's gonna go. But other than that, I'm really, really liking it. I'm definitely hope to finish this book today. I also did make a bunch of listening progress on All Your Twisted Secrets by Diana Urban. I'm liking it. I'm really invested in the story, which is super good. I'm about 4 hours into it, which is good. The only thing I don't like is that there's a lot of characters in it, and I'm just getting confused, who's who. We're basically in one character's head for the entire story, but there's just so many voices that I'm getting confused, who's connected to who and who was her friend when. So and we're also falling back into the past a lot, which I'm actually really liking, but just the character voices aren't as clear as I want them to be, or not as specific. This story might have benefited from another point of view, because I think it maybe would have enhanced the story a little bit. I am liking it. It's definitely not my favorite character-wise, but plot-wise, really enjoying it. I'm going to go do a quick workout, and then I am going to go for a bike ride when I'm going to dive into Ghosts of the Shadow Market, and I will check in with you guys when I'm back. Bye, guys. Hey, it's Lori here. I just finished finishing Verona Comics by Jennifer Dugan. Guys, I love this book. I thought this book was so well done. I really, really enjoyed it. I wound up giving it 5 stars. This book was so special. I love that it focused on, the Comic-Con, the comic world, which is a world that I watch a lot of movies from, but I just love that industry. I love how they're really so focused on, their fandom life. I think the elements of Romeo and Juliet was a big part of this book, but not the sole part. They dealt with a lot of harder topics in this book, like anxiety and depression, and really also healthy relationships, which I loved. The last 20 pages of this book is a great is just great. I've never read any book like that talked about relationships the way that this book did. Really, 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 really loved it. I will definitely read more by this author in the future. Definitely a 5-star read. Def one I'm going to keep for my collection. It's probably one of the first ALA books I'm probably going to wind up keeping and not giving away. But oh my god, I just love their characters. Ridley, he's just such a sweet character, dealing with so many issues, and I just really, really loved him. I thought that it also had a solid ending. Contemporary books, you don't always get a solid ending. I thought the title was so cute because it references Romeo and Juliet, but such a solid read. If you're looking for a book that deals with harder topics, but also in a realistic fashion, I would really, really check out this book by Jennifer Dugan. I am going to head to my yoga class, and then I'm going to come back and start my next read, and I'll let you guys know what that is when I come back. Bye, guys. Hey guys, Lori here. I'm back. I did do my yoga class. The thing with my evening yoga classes is you like turn all your lights down and you like kind of like stay still. It makes my room so cold, so I put on my heater so I might look like I'm like cold. My hands might look a little bit cold, but that's because I am cold. But put the heater on. It should be back at normal temperature wise in a little bit. But I am back to reading. I did want to picking up Onyx and Ivory. This is the book that's for the Time Warp YA book club. It's actually due next week, so I really do need to read it. I know that it's a fairy tale retelling, and that's like the only thing that I know. I know that it's like a first book in a duology. I don't know if there's going to be a third book. I know Bella's a princess or a girl. I think it's a daughter, and her dad was a traitor, and then there's a son of a king. I don't know that much about it, to be very honest with you, but I am going to start reading it. I'm also going to watch something on my long list of shows that I want to tackle. But yeah, so I'm going to do that, and I'll probably update you guys when I get, like, I don't know, maybe like 50 pages in, just to let you guys know my thoughts. This is definitely a longer book, I'll say that. It's like almost close to 500 pages, so this might be a full week read. I also do want to finish reading Chosen Ones this week, so I'm going to probably read that a little bit tomorrow. But I'm going to go read this and update you guys when I get about 50 pages in. Bye! Lori here, I'm back. Sorry, I didn't wind up updating last night. I wound up going to watching some Netflix and doing some other things. But I did wind up reading a little bit of Onyx and Ivory. I'm on page 16. So I'm not that far into it. But what I think I'm going to do right now is I'm going to focus on making some progress on Veronica Roth's Chosen Ones. And this is what I'm going to focus on until work starts. And then I'll probably go back to listening to All Your Twisted Secrets by Diana Arbin. But I'll definitely update you guys in the evening. I have to do a work thing later tonight. I have to talk to someone via Zoom, so I won't be reading as much today. Sorry, my phone keeps going off. But I will be updating you guys before and after that. So I'll talk to you guys in a little bit, hopefully with a little more progress on Chosen Ones. Bye, guys. Lori here. I'm back. Sorry I didn't update at all yesterday after that morning clip. I got a really, really bad headache from staring at my computer screen for 5 weeks straight. The downside of long distance learning, because you literally have to be in front of a computer screen like the entire day. And I also had to give a talk that I was a little bit nervous about, so it was not good. But I did wind up watching a lot of Legacies, which is the spinoff of Originals and the spinoff of The Vampire Diaries. I watched like 5 episodes of that, which was really exciting. I'm really, really liking that show. Have no idea of the context, have no idea who's connected to anyone, but I think the cast of characters is like super fun, and it reminds me a lot of Buffy, so I'm gonna keep watching that today. I'm gonna make some progress on Onyx and Ivory. I'm only on page 22. I didn't read a lot yesterday because my head was really, really bothering me. Today I'm working. I have to go to work in a couple of minutes, but I just want to do a quick update. I'm gonna try to read a little bit in my off time, and I'm also gonna try to listen in my off time as well. My audiobook's over there. But yeah, that's why I didn't update yesterday. Sorry, I've been trying to be a very, very consistent vlogger since this quarantine happened, but I'll definitely be better today. So I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Bye. Sorry here, just checking back in. I did wind up making a little bit more progress on Onyx and Ivory. I'm now on page 50. It's a very, very slow-paced novel. I still am really liking it though, but basically follows 2 characters. You follow Kate, who is a daughter of a traitor that her dad tried to kill the king, and she is a writer that tries to deliver messages. And then you follow the other point of view, which I think is, what is his name? His name is Corwin, I think, and he is the son of the king. And they kind of have an interconnection, but he is kind of on the, I don't think he's gonna be king, but his brother's king, so he's kind of adventuring, and then they kind of like their paths cross unexpectedly. But I'm liking it. It's definitely not my favorite. It's a very, very slow read. This book is also like close to 500 pages, but I am really liking it, and I hope to read a little bit more today since I didn't read anything yesterday. So I'm gonna go do that, and I'll update you guys in a little bit. Bye, guys. Here, just checking back in. It's almost 5 o'clock. I did have a little bit of lunch. I did read a little bit more. I'm now on page 81 in Onyx and Ivory by Mindy Arnett. This book has really big, like, Tamora Pierce vibes. It does deal with a lot of, like, magic, like, nature magic. And then you also have a king, and they have, like, a hidden past. I'm always a big fan of Blast from the Past stories where, like, characters were connected in the past and then they kind of get reconnected. I do like the world. I like that we're getting 2 point of views that are very, very different. You have Kate's point of view, and she's more of like a modern day character. Well, not modern day, but like more of like a regular character. And then you have the prince, who is in a very different place than Kate is, and I really like their dynamics. I also like how the story is told. I think it's a very, very slow-paced story, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad story. It just means it's very, very slow. But I am liking how the world is being expanded. So I'm going to update you guys when I get up to page 100 about and let you guys know my thoughts. But now I'm on page 81. Still really, really liking it. I'm going to keep reading, and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye, guys. Larry here. It's about 7:30, and I did actually wind up getting up to page 152, I think. Yeah, 52 in Onyx and Ivory. And we have moved on to the second part of this book. Still really liking it. I'm liking how we got like a small like trio of characters together. I'm very into trios of characters. I love them in all my novels, but this trio of characters is really unique and really different. And I'm liking the two divergent perspectives. I like that we're changing locations. It's definitely a slow start book. It's not. There is a lot of action in it, though. It's just the pacing, and I think because we're kind of floating into a new world, and I think it's a trilogy, it's one that we just have to, like, expand a little bit more. But I do like both characters. I think they're super interesting. I'm really invested in their past storyline and how that's going to affect the present. I like the present of the magic system. Again, it reminds me a little bit of, like, the Tamora Pierce magic system, as if this magic is forbidden. But still really, really liking it. I'm hopeful to read another 150 pages tomorrow. But yeah, that's my plan of attack. I'm going to go do some book browsing, and then I'm going to go watch some more episodes of The Legacies that I started watching yesterday. That's my plan, and I'll update you guys with my Legacy rewatch, well, my Legacy watching tomorrow morning. Bye, guys. Hey, it's Lori here. I'm back. It's about 4:30. I did wind up working longer than I normally do, but it is the end of the week, and I wanted to prep myself the best for next week. So I did a little bit more grading. I did do a little bit of a workout, and I did go for a quick walk. I did actually get to the last hour in All Your Twisted Secrets by Diana Urban. Really liking that book. I think that the character development could have been a little bit better, and the structure of the. Other than that, I thought it was a very, very solid read, and I really am curious to see how it ends. I'm right at the tail end. I think I have an hour left, and I'll probably finish up tomorrow morning in the morning when at my job when I'm teaching. Well, teaching. But I did wind up listening to a bit of that, and I am going to dive into Onyx and Ivory and read a little bit more. I got up to page 160. I didn't read a lot today during work. I read a little bit, but I'm going to go read a little bit. But yeah, that's my plans, and hopefully I'll get to read a little bit more. I really fell down a Legacies train last night. I think I watched 3 episodes. This has not been my best week, reading wise. I've just been a little bit distracted. But I do want to make some more reading progress, so I'm gonna go do that, and I'll update you guys when I get up to page maybe 200. I think that will be a good place to update you guys on my thoughts. So far, I'm liking it. It's a very, very slow read, but a very, very interesting read. I really, really do like the world. So I'm gonna go read, and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. Right here, I am back. I did wind up reading to page 200 in Onyx and Ivory. I am really liking it. I think it's a very slow-paced fantasy novel, but one that I am liking the both perspectives. I am liking the various settings that we are in. I do like how it is a complicated world that is slowly being built. I really do like the side characters as well because I think it's really interesting. I do like how the magic system is being created. It's just not a very, very fast-paced story, but there is a lot of action. It's just a very, very slow-paced story, which isn't a bad thing, and I tend to like those stories. But yeah, so I'm going to hopefully attempt to read another 200 pages tonight. That's my goal. It's only 6 o'clock. I'm going to go do one quick errand in my house, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to read. But I will update you guys when I get up to page 250, I think. That's probably the plan right now. And I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. Right here, sorry, I just took a shower, so my hair is a little bit wild. But I did wind up listening to the next 30 minutes of All Your Twisted Secrets by Diana Urban. That book had a wild twist that I was not necessarily predicting, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. So I'm going to hold off on my thoughts about that. Before the twist, I would say it was a very, very fun, engaging read with a twisty and really dealt with, the aftermath of bullying and that effect. The ending twist reminded me of another book I've read that I wasn't the biggest fan of. And I still do say that I had some issues differentiating who was who because there were so many characters and you were only ever in Amber's head. So I'm curious to see how the book really ends, but right now I have mixed feelings on the twist. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I'll give you guys my full wrap-up tomorrow morning because I only have 30 minutes left, and I'll definitely finish that in the morning. But I am going to go back to reading Onyx and Ivory. I have a long reading vlog from Reagan that I wanted to watch anyway, so that's going to be my plan of attack. And I'm going to try to be caught up on all of my booktube videos, or my videos that I'm going to watch tonight, so that this weekend I can focus on YALLFest, Y'all West, which they're having a lot of content on, like, online that we can watch, and I want to be able to participate, and Legacies, which is my new obsession. So those are my two goals. I will update you when I get up to page like 250 in Onyx and Ivory and let you guys know my thoughts. Talk to you guys in a bit. Bye. Laura here, just checking back in. It is 8 o'clock. And I did wind up getting up to page 250 in Onyx and Ivory by Mindy Arnett. I'm still really liking this book, and the character of Corwin's point of view is definitely getting a little bit more interesting. He is now engaged in kind of a race for the throne, I'll say. Like, there's something he has to do to try to decide who's going to be the next leader of his country, and they're kind of diving into that a little bit more. And there's also another mystery that's developing in this new place. Also, Kate's dealing with a lot of the issues that her dad had. Her dad was known as a traitor, and now she's known as a traitor as she's returning to the place where she grew up in, which I think is very, very interesting. I'm still really liking how they're diving back into Corwin and Kate's relationship. I really hope that we focus a little bit more in the second half of the book on the side characters, because I really do like them. And I really wonder what's going to happen with Kate's magic, because I think it's a very, very interesting type of magic. But yeah, I did get up to page 250. I think I could probably get up to page 300 before I start watching Legacies. I'm probably going to read for like an hour more. But I will definitely update you guys as I go on. But yeah, this is definitely a longer book, but I'm still really liking it. Just probably not my favorite, but I know that there is a sequel that I will be trying to get my hands on. But yeah, that's my plan. I'm going to go back to reading, and I will update you guys when I get to page, either when I read a little bit more, or by 9 o'clock. So see you guys in a bit. Bye. Here, I'm back. It's about 9 o'clock, and I did actually wind up getting up to page about 300 in Onyx and Ivory by Mindy Arnett. Still really enjoying this book. I think this book definitely has, like, I normally like reading books set in, like, not modern times, because I think that it always dives into the roles of women in that society. And I really am liking the dynamics between Kate and Corwin. I think it's super interesting, and I normally really enjoy Flash from the Past stories. Like, I really like that. I think that their dynamics are super interesting, and they're both in very interesting places, like, independently of their own stories. So I'm curious to see where the story goes and where the mystery goes. I'm kind of missing the side characters a little bit. I think I've said this before in my other previous thing, but I am about, like, I was about halfway done with it. So I'm going to actually go ahead and finish watching Reagan's video. I'm actually going to do a book tag this weekend, which I'm really excited about, because I'm watching her do it, and I'm motivated. And then I'm going to watch a couple of episodes of Legacy, and then tomorrow I'm going to definitely finish All Your Twisted Secrets by Diana Urban, because that book really threw me for a loop. So I'm definitely going to finish that, and I'm going to hopefully make a little bit more progress on this and probably start a new reading vlog. I didn't get as much reading done this week as I wanted to, between the bad weather and between me not feeling that great on Tuesday. Not coronavirus, just a headache. But I will update you guys in the morning if I do read a little bit more. Friday is normally a catch-up day that I kind of catch up everything for the next week. I did that this afternoon, so maybe I can read a little bit in the morning. We will see. But I hope to make a bit more progress in this tomorrow. That's my goal. But yeah, I'm gonna go watch Legacies, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Bye. Here, I'm back. It's about 8:30. I did actually start work, but this was like my prep period, technically. But I did wind up finishing All Your Twisted Secrets by Diana Urban. I have to admit, I thought that book was super well executed. I thought it was very, very interesting. I really enjoyed the twist. I think, again, it's like a little bit of like an open ending, I'll say. So, like, go into it knowing that you won't get like a solid ending, but I did enjoy it. I think my fear with the twist once I read it was like, oh my god, this is going to be like another book that I read that I absolutely hated, and that's with Malice by Alice Cook, or Aline Cook, I think, and I really did not like that book at all. This book was a very, very interesting. I really wound up enjoying it. The only struggle point I had was that I wish that the character voices were a little bit more distinct and a little bit more clear, especially in the beginning. And I do totally understand why the point of view had to be in one character. Like, I get that now. but I still would have liked the other characters to be fleshed out a little bit more. But overall, I really did wind up liking it, and I would probably give it like 3.5 stars, maybe like 3.75 stars. I thought it was a little bit, I thought it dealt with a lot of like interesting topics, like substance abuse and like depression and bullying. Really wound up liking it, and I would definitely read more by this author in the future. I don't think it was my favorite fantasy thriller I ever read, but I thought it was really, really well done, and I think that once you know the twist, be a fun book to go back and kind of read it again. So I wound up giving that 3.75 stars. I'm actually going to try my hardest to finish Ghost of the Shadow Market today so I can move on to 2 new audiobooks for early May. And I wound up reading another chapter of Onyx and Ivory. So that's what I'm going to go do. I'm going to go do that, and I'll check in with you guys when my workday is over. Bye, guys. Right here, I'm back. It's about 4 o'clock. I did actually wind up listening to a bunch today. I wound up actually finishing 2 audiobooks, which I'm actually really happy about. I wound up finishing All Your Twisted Secrets by Diana Urban. I think I said that in the previous clip, but I wound up really, really liking the book. I wound up giving like 3.75 stars. I think I said I had some issues feeling connected to like all the characters, but I did like it. I thought it was a very, very solid mystery and one that I really did enjoy. Then I wound up finishing listening to Ghost of the Shadow Market, which is an anthology by a bunch of authors, but it basically follows Jem as he hunts through the various shadow markets throughout time, and you see a bunch of fan favorite characters as he's hunting for something. And you kind of know going into it what the thing is, and then at the end it becomes really apparent what the thing is. But I really liked it. I loved how we got to see some fan favorite characters from the past. We got to learn a little bit more about the characters that we're going to meet in Chain of Gold. Really thought it to be fun. And then I'm going to actually dive into my book now, which is still Onyx and Ivory. I did get to read a little bit more. I'm on page 312 now. Still really, really liking it. Definitely a slower paced fantasy read. So I'm going to dive into this, and I will update you guys when I make a bit more progress. Talk to you guys in a bit. Bye. Flurry here. I'm just checking back in. I did actually wind up going to like a Fierce Friday Zoom meeting, which is for y'all West, but it's like the stay-at-home edition. So I'm seeing a bunch of authors, which is actually super cool, and I'm really excited to participate in a couple more Zoom meetings this weekend. And I did read a little bit more of Onyx and Ivory. I have about like 100 pages left. Honestly, it's not my favorite read. I think that the world building is very interesting, but the pacing is just more slower than I would like. I'm still liking it, and I'm still gonna finish it because I've got 100 pages left. I still am liking the dual point of views, but I think the pacing is the one thing that I'm struggling with. Even though I do like the characters and I do like the world building, the pacing is just not capturing me. And there is a lot going on. I almost think there's too much going on, and that is what is making the book be very, very slow paced. But I still do like the characters. I still do like the world building, so I'm gonna keep reading. And yeah, I'm gonna hopefully check back in when I'm done. I've got 100 pages left. I'll probably check in when I'm like 50 pages. I have 50 pages left to let you guys know if my thoughts have changed. But I'm gonna go do that, and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. Alright, here, just checking back in. It is 8:11, and I did wind up getting up to page 430 in Onyx and Ivory. It did hit an interesting plot point, and I'm curious to see how it turns out. The 2 main characters are really like not in the same place, and I like that because I think that their stories are becoming super interesting. So I'm liking that. I'm still struggling with the pacing of it, but I still really do like the characters, and I'll definitely check out the sequel eventually, probably when I can physically go to a library and like get it, because they don't have the second one on NetGalley or not. I mean, on my library site. But I will probably look into getting it when the library does reopen. But I definitely like the characters. I think the world building is super interesting. I just think this book was a little bit over long, and the pacing was not my favorite. But I am gonna go read like at least 30 more pages, and then I'll give you guys an update, and then I'll give you guys an update at the end. I definitely do want to finish this book tonight. This reading week kind of failed because it was bad weather, and I really wasn't feeling good one day with a bad headache. So I didn't read as much this week as I wanted to. But I do hope to finish this book tonight and maybe start a new reading vlog for the weekend. But I'm going to go do that, and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. It's Lori here. I'm back. It is almost 9 o'clock, and I did actually wind up reading up to page 400 and almost 460 in Onyx and Ivory. I'm definitely going to finish this book tonight. Definitely has reached like the climax of this story. A lot of things happen in such quick time, so like we're definitely towards the end. I am actually liking the pacing of it, and there's like been like a hint of a mystery that's being revealed, which I'm curious about. But yeah, I definitely am liking it. I think the pacing kind of killed the book for me a little bit, just because it was very, very slower, but I'm still enjoying the story and I will definitely finish it. So I'm actually gonna go finish it and then I'll check in with you guys, give you guys my overall thoughts, and kind of choose my next read. And yeah, that's my plans for the evening, and I'll check in with you guys in a bit. Bye. Lori here. I'm actually here to wrap up this reading vlog. I just wanted finishing Onyx and Ivory by Mindy Arnett. This was the book that was chosen for the Time Warp YA book club that I run. The link is always in the description box. I didn't wind up liking this book. I didn't wind up loving this book. I would probably give this book like 3.75 stars. Basically, I really like the characters. I was really invested in the world building. This was a book that was just 500 pages. And honestly, the pacing is the thing that killed me in this book, because even though there was so much action at points and I really liked the characters, the pacing just was not my favorite. And I really got a little bit bored of it, especially in the middle. And even at the end, I just felt like at that point, I just really wasn't as invested in the story and the pacing of it. So I wound up giving this one 3.75 stars. Also, earlier in this vlog, I did wind up finishing Verona Comments by Jennifer Dugan. This was a great read. I wound up giving this book 5 stars. I really, really loved it. It's her second book. Her first book was Hot Dog Girl, which I wasn't the biggest fan of. This one I actually wound up really, really liking. It basically follows these two characters, Ridley and Jubilee, and their paths cross at a comic book convention, and their parents are basically the Romeo and Juliet. Like, they are like the rivals of the comic book industry, and their paths wind up crossing. They're both dealing with a lot of hard issues. And their paths wind up crossing. Wind up really, really enjoying this book. Wind up giving this book 5 stars. Probably one of my favorite reads of the month. I thought that it handled anxiety and depression and codependency and relationship really, really well. And I also really like that it had a background of a comic book or a fandom, because I really wound up enjoying that. And Ridley was definitely a really fun character to read from. I wouldn't say he was fun, but I liked getting inside his head, and I liked seeing the depression through his eyes. I thought that was a very interesting way, and the way that she structured his voice, or told her voice, and the way she used like how she wrote the story, like the physical, like the way she wrote it text wise, I really wound up liking it. So I wound up giving this book 5 stars. Also today I wound up finishing 2 audiobooks because I was listening to 2 different audiobooks. I also finally wound up finishing Ghosts of the Shadow Market by Cassandra Clare and a bunch of other authors. That is the anthology book, like the anthology short stories set after Queen of Air and Darkness. And it basically follows Jem as he's going through the years and different shadow markets to try to find something. And at the beginning of the book, you kind of know who you're looking for. And at the end of the book, you definitely know what you're looking for. But I wound up loving that. I love those short story collections because I always think it fleshes out not only the series you've been, like the previous series, but also the series you're going to. And I really, really wound up liking that. I love that we got to see some characters from the past that I really love. We got some Simon cameos, which I love. And I wound up really liking that. And I wound up giving that book 5 stars. Another 5-star read, because Cassandra Clare has been really blowing my mind in 2020, especially since quarantine started, because her books are so big. And I hope to reread Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy next month, and then dive into Chain of Gold. And then the last book that I wound up finishing this week and for this reading vlog was All Your Twisted Secrets by Diana Urban. I wound up finishing that early this morning, and I wound up giving that 3.75 stars for review. Thought it was a really solid mystery. I said this before. It was very, very interesting. The structure was really interesting. But it basically follows this girl, and she and a bunch of her friends, and they are sent to a scholarship, what they think is a scholarship dinner. But it's revealed that it's not a scholarship dinner, and there's a bomb and a vial of poison. And they're basically told, in the next hour, you have to kill someone or all you're going to die. And it's kind of the development of that situation, but also flashback to the past to see how they got to that moment. I thought the mystery and the twisty, turny stuff was so interesting and so compelling. I liked being in the character's head. I liked the past and present, but I didn't feel as connected to the other characters in the story. So I only wound up giving that book 3.75 stars, but I will definitely be reading more by that author in the future. So I'm going to end this reading vlog. I hope you guys like this reading vlog. I definitely didn't read as much physical books this week as I normally do, but this was because it was a larger book, and as I said previously, it wasn't my favorite read of the month, but I am so happy that I wound up finishing it and I had a strong reading week. I'm gonna go start my next reading vlog for the weekend, and I will talk to you guys for my next reading vlog. Hope you guys are staying safe and hope you guys are staying healthy. Let me know in the comments what are some books you are reading during your quarantine, and I'll talk to you later. Bye guys.